Our lead story tonight, well, this was straight out of a Bollywood movie. A heated 5-hour encounter between gangsters and cops of Punjab in a village near the Attari border, the India-Pakistan border. Ghazali is now reporting live from the site. Ghazali, you could hear the gunshots. People were asked to stay indoors as this heated firefight happened. What are the latest details you have? And let's just look at what actually happened in those 5 hours.
See, right now I'm just few meters away from
Bhakna Kalan village near Amritsar, waking up to the sound of gunfire as an intense encounter raged between the police and the gangsters who shot popular singer Sidhu Moose Wala. After 5 hours of shooting, less than 10 kilometers from the Attari border, the two shooters were killed. This man, Jagrup Singh Rupa, killed first. The other suspect, Manpreet Singh, alias Mannu Kusa, continued to fire for about an hour before he was killed around 4 p.m. in the afternoon. He died holding the AK-47 rifle he had used to shoot indiscriminately. The encounter began at noon as Punjab Police's anti-gangster task force tailed these two men. In the crossfire, a news channel's camera person got a bullet injury in his right leg.
ਸ਼ੁਭਦੀਪ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਰਡਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ 29 ਤਾਰੀਖ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸਾਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੀ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਾਸਟਰਮਾਈਂਡ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਰੋਲ ਪਲੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਸੀਗੇ
Ambulances reached the spot just minutes before the police declared Jagrup Rupa dead. The two belonged to the Jaggu Bhaganpuria gang. Bhaganpuria had provided these shooters to Lawrence Bishnoi for the Moose Wala killing. The two evaded the police for 52 days. CCTV footage had recently surfaced showing Rupa and Manu Kusa riding a bike in Punjab's Moga district. The police intensified their search after that. Of the 6 shooters involved in Moose Wala's killing, 3 have now been arrested, 2 have been killed. One shooter, Deepak Mundi, is still at large. With Mohammad Ghazali, Ankita Mukherjee for NDTV.
Let's go across to Ghazali at that encounter site. Ghazali, what are the latest details you have on these two men of the Bolero module, and were they actually crossing over to Pakistan?
See, there is no such confirmation whether they were crossing over to Pakistan, but I'm standing just meters away from that hideout. Can't show you from here in the visuals, but right now heavy police presence is there, because what we have learned that police has also found or recovered arms and ammunition there. A statement by the Punjab police says heavy arms and ammunition, and that is exactly why this encounter went on for 5 hours. It started off somewhere between 10 and 11 in the morning and went till 5 p.m. in the evening. Indiscriminate firing for hours happened today morning in this village. I am joined here by some of the eyewitnesses or the residents of the village. We'll try to speak to him and find out what exactly happened. कब आप लोगों को पता चला कि इनकाउंटर हो रहा है यहाँ पे?
एक्चुअली सुबह 10:30 बजे से फायरिंग हो रही है और 3:30-4 बजे तक हुई फायरिंग. उसके बाद पता चला कि उनका इनकाउंटर हो गया है. बहुत नॉन स्टॉप फायरिंग हो रही थी सुबह से.
कितने के, और पुलिस ने सारी सड़कें और गांव के जो एंट्रेंस हैं, एग्जिट हैं, सब बंद कर दिए थे?
पुलिस ने सब जो एंट्री पॉइंट है सब बंद किए हुए थे. गाँव में जो सड़कें आती हैं सभी बंद थी. जितना काला दवाला है ना उस घर का वो सभी बंद किया हुआ था.
और ये घर था किसका जिसमें, क्योंकि गांव से बिल्कुल बाहर की तरफ है ये घर, तो किसका घर था जिसमें ये लोग छुपे हुए थे?
वो यहीं के लोग थे, उनका घर था, बट वो अभी यहाँ पे नहीं रहते हैं. तो खाली पड़ा हुआ है घर.
ओके. और यहाँ से अटारी बॉर्डर कितनी दूर है इस गांव से?
5-6 किलोमीटर है.
5-6 किलोमीटर. इससे पहले कभी यहाँ पर किसी तरह की ऐसी गतिविधि किसी गैंगस्टर की या नशे के तस्कर की या उधर से आने वाले किसी लोगों की?
नशे की तो बहुत होती है यहाँ पे डिलीवरी, बट ऐसे ही कभी नहीं हुआ. गैंगस्टर
पंजाब पुलिस की कोई मुठभेड़ या गैंगस्टर का?
नहीं, ये नहीं हुआ कभी, बट नशे की तस्करी होती है यहाँ पे.
Okay, so this is what some of the eyewitnesses, locals from this village, Bhakna Kala, are saying, that in that particular hideout, it was an abandoned under construction house where these two, Jagrup Rupa and Manpreet Singh, were hiding there, and police perhaps was chasing them since morning. They noticed their movement across the border districts here, near the border districts, and that is when police party from Amritsar district, both from rural and the Amritsar Commissionerate, and also police force from Tarn district, the neighbouring border district. They all came into this village. They arrived here, cordoned off, and then this even announcements were made from the Gurdwara for people to stay inside, and requests were made to the gangsters to surrender, but in response they started firing, after which the police also exchanged fire, and after 5 hours or so the encounter was over, confirming the killing of these two gangsters who had attacked Sidhu Moose Wala on May 29th. Huge arms and ammunition is expected to be recovered from here.
Really, Ghazali, as you've been reporting, the influence of Punjab gangs, but for the Punjab police, the government has congratulated them, saying that this has been a major success. 3 policemen were also injured, and the Punjab police now say that all the shooters involved in the Sidhu Wala killing are either arrested or dead. Meanwhile, let's move across the other big headlines. Well, Parliament is just the 3rd day of the monsoon session, and again, disruptions again and again through the day. Both the houses have been adjourned without business being carried out today. On the first day, there were, of course, the presidential elections. Today, on day 2, opposition MPs then disrupted the proceedings over a price rise discussion. The Lok Sabha Speaker warned MPs holding banners and placards in the House. Rahul Gandhi and other opposition MPs were protesting near the Gandhi statue over the price rise. And today, day 3, opposition MPs stormed the well of the House, holding milk, dahi and butter, protesting over both inflation and the imposition of GST rates on this. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister has accused the opposition of shying away from discussion, saying that it will be held after Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman recovers from COVID. Well, tomorrow will be a big political day as the presidential election results will be out. As of now, Draupadi Murmu, the NDA candidate, is expected to be the clear winner. Parties already declared their support. So big plans. The Prime Minister will meet Draupadi Murmu at her residence after the results are announced. Also, there will be a grand victory celebration, including a roadshow led by BJP President JP Nadda, and celebrations across India, especially in tribal areas. So India's next president will be known tomorrow, but also tomorrow a big political face-off as the Congress president Sonia Gandhi will appear before the Enforcement Directorate for the first time. The Enforcement Directorate has summoned her after she had COVID in the National Herald case, and they're probing an alleged money laundering in Young Indian Limited. The Congress president has a 38% stake in Young Indian, and the argument, of course, is on how this was incorporated to take over the debt of Associated Journals. The Gandhis, the Enforcement Directorate says, acquired 800 crores worth of assets of AJL through Young India. But the Congress says the Young Indian Limited is a not-for-profit company with no dividend to stakeholders. Rahul Gandhi has already been questioned by the Enforcement Directorate for 5 days in the same case. Well, in other news, the rupee closed down at another low today. Now it's 79 rupees 99 paise to the dollar. But foreign investors seem to be returning, with them being net buyers for 7 days this month. That's the most since January. Priyanshi has the latest. Priyanshi.
Sonia, there is a significant positive trend from the markets. The rupee has again closed at a record low of 79.99 per dollar, just a paisa away from that 80 mark. There are signs showing that the primary reason dragging the rupee down, that is the large foreign fund outflows, might actually be coming back. Now, foreigners remained net buyers for 7 days this month, and that is the most number of days they've been net buyers for in any month since January. In June, they were net buyers for just 1 day, and in May, they were net buyers for only 3 days as per depositories data. Though the total foreign fund pullout this year is still at a record high of close to $30 billion, this early trend does show us that investors are in fact returning to India. Now, why is this happening? Recession fears are easing as US firms reported strong earnings. Dollar is also easing from its 2-decade high. Oil prices are also going down. And the sentiment overall is positive in the markets. Markets were up for the 4th straight session today. They gained over 1%. Sensex gained 629 points to end at 55,397. Nifty was up 180 points and touched 16,520. Oil shares led the surge and they gained over 2% after government's export duty and windfall tax cut. So definitely positive signals from the markets are showing up, and experts say this could be a turning point if this trend continues. Let's listen in.
It could just about be a turning point as far as FPI investments in the equity market goes. It will also help to stabilize the rupee, because today when we see the rupee coming down, a large part of it could be attributed on a daily basis to FPIs which are withdrawing from the market.
The other big headline tonight, the Supreme Court has ordered interim bail for fact-checker and journalist Mohammed Zubair in all cases. What's important is the Supreme Court has once again reiterated that powers of arrest must be used sparingly. This is the second time the Supreme Court has made this point after the Chief Justice talked of a separate bail act just 2 weeks ago. Let's go across to Sukirti and Akshay for the latest. Now, Sukirti, a very important order being given there with the Supreme Court, Justice Chandrachud making many key points. What are the main big headlines of this?
Well, as far as the big headlines of this particular order today are concerned, firstly, interim bail in all existing as well as all new FIRs. Also, the Supreme Court has disbanded the SIT that had been formed by the UP police. Also, all the FIRs in UP will now be transferred to Delhi. But also what is significant is the kind of exchange that took place in court between the UP government and the Supreme Court judges. When the UP government requested the Supreme Court that Zubair should be stopped from putting out any further tweets, the Supreme Court Justice D.Y. Chandrachud said that it is like asking a lawyer not to argue further. How can we take anticipatory action against a citizen just for raising his voice? As far as other arguments from the UP government are concerned, the UP government said that Mohammed Zubair is not a journalist. He calls himself a fact checker. But Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, while the entire discussion on not putting tweets was happening, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud said that how can you ask a journalist not to write? Also, the UP government throughout the hearing kept opposing this bail plea by Mohammed Zubair, but Justice D.Y. Chandrachud ultimately said that we see no justification on why he should continue to be in detention. We see no reason why we should prevent his liberty any further. Also, the entire issue of all these multiple cases across Uttar Pradesh came up. The UP government tried to defend its actions by saying that we will only be taking custody of him in cities where cases are lodged against him. We have no viciousness against the petitioner. But Justice D.Y. Chandrachud said, but how can the balance of justice be maintained when you have multiple proceedings going against him across Uttar Pradesh? So those are the big points from the Supreme Court today.
And again, Justice Chandrachud stressing on the deprivation of liberty, that should not be continued, and that powers of arrest must be used sparingly. So in fact, even Akshay, the fact that the Supreme Court ordered that he must be released from Tihar jail today. Now, this has also happened after we've seen earlier cases when the arrival of documents, formalities had taken so long that the person who gets bail actually ends up spending another night in Tihar jail. The Supreme Court making it clear this is not acceptable. When is he expected to come out?
Well, exactly, Sonia, and when we first heard about the bail, we also expected Mohammed Zubair to walk out of the jail, not today but tomorrow. But now from what we are hearing, all the procedures are on in the Tihar jail, and Mohammed Zubair is expected to walk out of this very gate in about an hour. There is a lot of media presence. Everyone is waiting for Mohammed Zubair to come out, who was bombarded with the FIRs, especially in the state of Uttar Pradesh. There were 7 FIRs in UP, 2 in Hathras, 1 each in Sitapur, Chandauli, Ghaziabad, Muzaffarnagar and Lakhimpur Kheri. So the vicious cycle was on. Just 5 days back, Mohammed Zubair was given bail in the case that was filed in Delhi, and after that, everyone expected Mohammed Zubair to walk out of the jail. However, that did not happen because of the number of FIRs that were filed in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and these are the FIRs that we know about. And this is exactly what Vrinda Grover, as far as the arguments are concerned, this is what exactly what she said, that these are the FIRs that they know about, and the way things are going on, if he gets bail in all the FIRs, we might just hear about another case that was filed somewhere sometime in the past. And these are the cases. The Delhi case was about a tweet that he made in year 2018. So about 4 to 5 years later, action against him by Delhi police, and then string of actions against him by the UP police.
Chandrachud has also agreed with and said this bail applies to all future cases related to these tweets as well. Thanks so much for those updates, Akshay and Sukirti. Well, moving across to what's the big political headline emerging from Karnataka, where the Karnataka police have given a clean chit to senior BJP leader and ex-minister Eshwarappa. Shrija, why is this so important? And this comes, as we said, just months before elections in Karnataka next year. So why is this so important?
Well, we see Udupi police here in Karnataka has given a clean chit. This is in the B report that they have filed, and they've presented before the court as well, People's Representative Court. And before the court, they have placed saying that there is no evidence whatsoever against KS Eshwarappa. Now, it becomes pertinent to note that what really happened to the suicide note, which clearly had a mention of Eshwarappa, who was the former Panchayat Raj minister, and in fact, Santosh Patil, the victim, he had clearly mentioned saying that because he could not pay the 40% commission which was demanded by KS Eshwarappa, he had to take that extreme step. Now, what really happened to that particular allegation? Because initially when the FIR was registered against KS Eshwarappa, it was abetment to suicide. But now we see the police have filed a B report giving him a clean chit saying that there is no evidence whatsoever. It's also important to note that why it could have gone against Santosh Patil also is because in terms of evidence, we understand it was an oral order which was given by KS Eshwarappa to Santosh Patil. So that could be one of the reasons why we understand there is no such record to talk about that KS Eshwarappa had ordered Santosh Patil to go ahead with the project, which is worth of 4 crore rupees.
Also that
in fact,
his wife, the widow of the contractor, has been meeting various politicians, especially over the last months, asking for justice in her husband's case. So let's just see how with this police report what actually unfolds. But there we have it, an important political development with Karnataka elections coming up in the state. So will Eshwarappa return to the Karnataka cabinet? But moving now to some disturbing news also from Udupi in Karnataka, and we want to warn viewers that these visuals could be disturbing when an ambulance carrying a patient and 2 attendants lost control and crashed into the toll booth. Absolutely shocking visuals there. Unfortunately, all 4 people in that ambulance have died, and some say it's because of the rainy weather. Now in Karnataka, of course, has seen heavy rains, but let's just look at the monsoon deficit that we're now seeing in parts of India from the 1st of June to the 19th of July, and we can see that Uttar Pradesh now has a monsoon deficit of 67%. So bad news for farmers there. Jharkhand also a monsoon deficit of 50%, followed by Bihar and Delhi, and Punjab, which is just 1%. This, of course, as many states like Gujarat and Maharashtra and Assam have seen excess rain this time.